Started then. Good morning, everybody. I'm Fred Steingraff. I am the Chamber Board President, and I'd like to welcome you to Coffee with the Mayor Teresa Gerringer here. And Collie, do we have any announcements that we want to do, or we just jump right into the Mayor?
I just would say let's jump right in. I'll give my spiel at the end and get everybody excited for what you just mentioned, our sidewalk sale. I believe Jay has some questions. If anyone else has questions for Mayor Gerringer, you can go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll follow up afterwards. But otherwise, I think we can turn it right over to the mayor.
All right, Mayor Gerringer, it's turning it over to you.
Thank you. And first of all, just thank you to everyone who got up bright and early and is taking part out of their day to come and be together in community. Actually, it's hopefully not just, I mean, I'm glad you're here to be with us this morning with Coffee with the Mayor, but also just glad to be with one another. And it takes a lot of people, and I see a lot of people on this Zoom on my squares that do a lot in the community. So thank you. Wasn't on purpose, but actually I'm going to take it on purpose. I'm going to transition into Lafayette Community Day. On June 4th, we had our first Lafayette Community Day. The Lafayette Community Foundation, soon to be the Community Foundation of Lafayette, the Chamber of Commerce and the city came together and provided an opportunity for all of us to come together and beautify our city and to be together, and had a great concert in the afternoon and just a very feel-good event. And I'm excited to announce that the group of people who sat around a table initially planning this actually sat around the table recently, and it will be back next year. And we learned from our lessons on starting this, and we'll have it back next year, and look forward to hearing from others about how to make it even more exciting and meaningful. So thank you on that. We've heard city sidewalk sale a couple of times already in the first 3 minutes of our event. It's tomorrow, 9 o'clock. I'm going to still sing a Holly's Thunder because it ties to the next thing. But at 9 o'clock tomorrow, coffee and breakfast, coffee and donuts. I don't know the menu, but we'll be meeting in the Plaza Park and then can go off to enjoy all of the offerings of our businesses throughout the community. And with that, shameless plug, the Shop Lafayette e-card program is still going on. We started that in March. Actually, I have notes, March 9th of this year. And since that time, $198,750 worth of e-cards to support our local businesses have been purchased, and some number have been redeemed. So folks, remember, they do have an at least the extra card, the buy one, get one free card. That one has a expiration date on it, so be sure to check those and don't miss out. But you can still, but wait, there's more. You can still go onto the Lafayette website, lovelafayette.org/ecard, and I think Suzanne and Holly are usually like good at popping these links into the chat. So, but you can go there and you can still purchase a card. There are 19 businesses throughout Lafayette who are participating in the program. I'm going to go through, this is going to be kind of my speed version, Reader's Digest version, so I can get to the questions, but there are a lot of things going on. So speaking of community, again, there might be a theme. There are several opportunities to get involved in the community. And I'm speaking to the choir here because you're all very involved, but the Planning Commission has a vacancy, and we're hoping that all of you, if you're not particularly interested, but I know you all know people, so we're hoping that you'll get the word out on that. That is one of our very, very important volunteer commissions, and we'd like to keep those commissions full. And so thank you for helping get that word out. We also we're working on our local road safety plan, which is basically also part of our Vision Zero plan as we're moving forward. And we have a task force that is being formed that will be representatives of all of the stakeholder groups in the in the community. So police, schools. I'm going to miss somebody, so I'm not going to say all of them, but we want 2 at-large members. And so that application process is open right now. The deadline to apply, excuse me, is Friday, August 19th. And then we will be interviewing just at the beginning of September, end of August, beginning of September, to put that group together to basically look at all of our traffic and circulation, all of our hotspots, and what are some of the safety measures that will help save human lives, make sure that we're being and focusing on safety for our bike cyclists and pedestrians, as well as our vehicle drivers, and making sure we get people to where they need to go, not necessarily faster, but safer. So we're looking at that plan. You're seeing some of the work that will continue through that plan in our efforts around our schools. As many of you know, over the last year, we've had extensive work on safe routes to schools, and had community members and business members, stakeholders, everybody working, not the community members and residents and business, because everybody's the community. Fact editing myself. But anyway, we've had everybody looking at those areas right around our schools. And so we've had some speed humps going in, some delineators. There'll be a K-rail on Pleasant Hill Road that to block exposure for pedestrians crossing there between Spring Hill and that. There's a bike path going, two-way bike path going in on School Street, and those delineators are up. A lot of ADA work going on around the community. So the local road safety plan task force will be very critical to working and hearing from the community as we move forward. I will also note that all of this work will be happening with lots of public engagement. So everyone will have an opportunity to weigh in on how that impacts you, your business, and the neighborhoods. The other items, I'm going to actually just really quickly finish up, and then I'll get back to community involvement opportunities. But we have been doing a lot of work also on the surface seal and maintenance of our roads. You know, we have a goal to keep our road ratings at, and I'm going to not say it right, so I'm not going to say it, but at a high percentage and a consistent percentage. So a lot of streets, a lot of neighborhoods. I'm sure that a number of people, if we asked you to raise your hand, have you had to drive through a road detour or be delayed a little bit? That work is primarily coming to an end. So our Public Works Department has been doing an amazing job and are doing final striping. There are a couple of roads that will begin in August with their surface seal maintenance and beginning of that work. And so I just want to give a shout out to Public Works. I also want to give a shout out to you, because while all of this is work is going on, we have places to go and we want to get there. And it causes us to have to sort of step back and be patient. And so I want to thank you all for doing that, and members of the community for being patient. And as we do the work with Vision Zero and the traffic changes and calming around our schools and throughout the community, that's going to cause changes, and it's going to cause some changes to where we can park and maybe how fast we can go around our schools. And so I just want to thank everybody in advance for being patient, being respectful, being kind to our Public Works folks as they're out there doing this work. And I'm going to just keep thanking Suzanne. Check the chat for where to find more information. So the other places to be involved are that we have a general election coming up. And on the city council, we have 3 seats that will be open, 2 4-year seats and 1 2-year seat that was created by the Cam Burke's leaving and the appointment of Wei Tai Kwok. So Susan Candell and I both have our seats are up. And so those seats are open, and the application process, you can pull your papers. You can go and meet with Joanne Robbins, who is amazing at making sure you know exactly what you need to do and all the papers that need to be filed. And so I encourage folks to go. Suzanne has put up the information. I will just say, I will take the liberty of saying that as of this week, all three of the incumbents have pulled their papers. And so not to discourage anyone else, I just want to, I know I've been asked a lot and saw both of them last night at our diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so that's that. Lots of opportunities. Speaking of diversity, equity, and inclusion, I want to thank the citizens group. And that's what I was saying earlier, my tease about where Allison Hill was last night. Allison Hill, Janet Thomas, Lynn McDonald, Jennifer Wakeman on the city staff. I'm going to miss people, Libby Henry, Sucha Castro. Anyway, lots of people were involved, but our students are amazing. The young adults and the young people in our community are doing amazing work at being inclusive and welcoming. And Dr. Lene McFadder-Harris at Akalani's also is leading this effort. And I'm just have lots of hope for the future of our community and the world when I interact with the students. And I did want to also mention in the opportunities to be involved, there are also 3 seats open on the Lafayette School Board. And those papers, you have to go through the Contra Costa County Elections Office, but that filing period is open as well. And so I hope that you will look for that information as well. I meant to make sure that we had that information. Also happening last night, there's nothing going on in this community. And luckily I have that Federal Express guy, I'm dating myself, ability to talk really fast. So we'll get through this. But the wildfire, we had a wildfire town hall put on by the Emergency Commission, emceed or moderated, if you will, by Councilmember Kwok. And if you weren't able to attend, if you weren't one of the 150 people who tuned in to watch that, it will be replayed, and Suzanne can tell us in chat if it'll be live, but it's on August 25th at 6 p.m. And we also, as part of the emergency preparedness, the CERT and other entities just emailed again. You all should have received, and I meant to have mine up as my, Vanna White, but your wildfire preparedness brochure or pamphlet, everything you need to know about being prepared, knowing where your evacuation routes are, signing up for the community warning system, which in the event of a real emergency is the place to get your information. You can get it to your cell phone, texts, emails, just any possible way to have that information. And Lafayette has, over the last couple of years, I think there might be 3 people who are on site. No, we're at about 8,000 residences, or 9 from the 10,000 parcels that we have in the community. So lots of people have signed up. So thank you for that. Let's see. And just as an aside, our Lafayette City main offices, those of you who need to go and get to our planning department, we have in the last, beginning on July 1st, closed that desk to appointments because there just wasn't a lot of activity. Folks are still there ready to answer your calls, but the walk-in desk has been closed. And so I think those are a lot of the big things that are going on. We did submit our housing element, our initial draft housing element to, well, maybe it's not a draft. We submitted our housing element with the opportunity sites to the Housing and Community Development earlier this month. And they have a 90-day period to review it. And then they will come back, they will come back with any edits. And then if there are edits, we will look at them, respond to them, and move forward, but it has to be certified by January of 2023. So I'm looking at Matt Pease in the top of my corner. So I want to thank Matt Pease and Jim Cervantes and all the GPAC members. I haven't looked back at my participant list in a few minutes, and just thank everybody for all the work and the community who has weighed in on all of the things that are important to us about our community, and also about our role in being part of regional solutions. So with that, I will pause and be open to questions.
Great. Well, Teresa, thank you very much. I'll get started. You've already answered the first question. I guess you're running for city council again. That's good. You did a pretty good job of sort of hitting all of the points that you made back in December about what your goals were, or what you considered the priorities of our residents. So you hit safety, Vision Zero, general plan, wildfires, diversity, equity, and inclusion, transportation. Have the Lafayette residents' priorities changed since December?
Well, good question. I would say that we could ask that of a number of the people. I think that the priorities, so the council priorities, just for everyone else, the mayor says things, and I do try to align in that beginning speech. I tried to align it with what the council had committed to. And we didn't have a lot of changes from the year before to this current year, but our priorities, as Jay said, are wildfire preparedness, wildfire and emergency preparedness, the public safety and traffic safety, not particularly around our schools, throughout our community, and also getting the general plan done. We also added this year and I'm forgetting one, it's too early in the morning. No, but this year we did add, and we just appointed Vice Mayor Anduri and Councilmember Kwok to a financial fiscal sustainability committee. And so I wouldn't say that's a change, but it is something that we are always looking at. Obviously, Lafayette has done very well at maintaining reserves and all of those. But as we've been moving forward and our city has been changing and the needs and wants of our residents have been changing, we run up against that. How do we get the resources? So we added the fiscal sustainability to look at where are the needs, where are the wants, how can we maintain what we have while enhancing. So we're going to be looking at that over the next year as well. I believe there'll be an opportunity for an ad hoc committee for that of community stakeholder members. So Jay, I think that our priorities as a community, and don't want to speak for everyone, but I represent everyone, and we try to make sure that we're in tune. I think that a lot of them are still the same. Yeah.
You led me, that was a great segue. You led me into my next question. And Teresa and I did not script this. We have not talked to each other about these questions.
But we are.
So after receiving the $6.37 million in ARPA funding over the last 2 years, city staff is projecting a deficit spending as early as fiscal year 23-24. Walnut Creek City Council is placing a half-cent sales tax on the upcoming ballot. Is Lafayette considering something similar?
So, as part of this will not just be the political, currently we do not have an active, we are not actively, have not engaged a consultant or a polling firm to look at that. But of course, another revenue source could be part of the efforts that we're doing to look at how we, again, how we meet the needs of our budget, the programs that we already have in place, and the desires and new needs of the community as we move forward. So I would be remiss to not say that we have to look at every possible way to manage our costs and the programs that we provide, as well as looking at how we find revenue sources that would be supported by the community. And
do you think that the residents would have an appetite for increasing their own sales tax at this point?
So sales tax is one way of doing that. And without having done the polling, I don't know. I will say that in Walnut Creek, they are finding that the residents seem to have an appetite for that. That even though Walnut Creek has, and they have all the businesses, all the things, we have the great businesses as well. And we all know that we rely on sales tax revenue to fund the things, the road efforts I was just talking about, a lot of the things that we're doing. I don't really have a crystal ball right now, Jay, on where people will be. I know that with inflation and the costs that we have right now, there might be folks who would find that a hard sell, but that's why we're doing this preliminary work to identify the what. What do we need? What do we want? What does it take to maintain the quality of life in Lafayette, our infrastructure, our services, as we're welcoming new houses, new development. So we're going to do that work, and we're going to engage the community as we're doing that work, and we will get there together. So I don't know the exact answers. I guess I could end with I hope, because there are only so many buckets of funds, and we all see the things that we could potentially do, and we have to define. I'm now having Don Lively, for those of you who have been around for a long time. I'm also hearing his voice. How do we really define the needs? What are the needs, and what does it really take, and what are we willing to give up or pay for? So,
yep.
Fred, take it away.
All right. Well, let's see here. We're looking to see if there's any questions.
And I do want to say, for those of you who said, "Oh, wait, I just heard a voice," I think that was Erling, who also has been around through these discussions for a long time. So always an interesting discussion, and we will be having that discussion over the next couple of years. So sorry.
Well, thank you for mentioning Don Lively. That is an important voice, and it still resonates.
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't been around, Don Lively was a member of a resident of the community and very active. And anytime that there was a revenue measure, and I've worked on several with the school district, parcel taxes, and the city through road and drain measures and different efforts to do that, Don Lively and his group would make sure that we were asking all the right questions about, and needs versus wants was sort of a mantra. And so it's good for us to remember that as we go forward. He has since passed. And Fred, now back to you.
Okay, back to me. Excellent, thank you. If anybody has a question, you can raise your hand. If you don't have your camera on, you can raise your virtual hand. All right, looks like we've got Tracy over here. Go ahead, Tracy.
Thank you, Mayor, for this wonderful opportunity to meet with you. And I have a question with regard to wildfire preparedness. I did not have the opportunity to attend the meeting last night. I look forward to catching up online with it on the site. But, I frequently walk the reservoir, and I've noticed tons of dead pines and a lot of dead underbrush. And I know they've undertaken some mitigation in certain areas, but I was curious what in fact, or how the city and our fire department is working with East Bay Mud on that. And I have that concern also because I border watershed, at my property at Tupper Court. And there's quite a few dead trees up behind me as well. So I was just curious where the city is aligning with East Bay Mud on some of this.
So wait, tell me again, Tracy, where's your residence?
Oh, I'm at off School Street at Tupper Court off the trails, and
okay.
I'm right on Las Trampas Creek. And
Okay.
East Bay Mud Watershed is behind me,
Yeah.
but it's more the
Thank you.
reservoir that I'm collecting
No,
and
no.
that I'm talking about. Yeah.
So I know that I know that we through the fire, and I don't want to put her on the spot, but one of the members of the fire board, our supervisor Candace Anderson, is on the call, as is her staff Lori Byers. But I know that we are working on working with our partners to make sure that we are prepared. I know that Confire, working very closely with Confire and Chief Burchard and Chief McAllister, and having regular conversations with them. I'm happy to also reach out to John Coleman. I know that the county is also working very closely with East Bay Regional Parks District to mitigate, and particularly during a wildfire, in closing the park on certain red flag days. But Supervisor Anderson, do you want to add anything?
Sure, and I'm sorry.
Welcome.
I've been listening to all of you. I've just been multitasking a little this morning, trying to get out the door for my next meeting. But no, Tracy, it's such an important question. And one thing that Confire did just get, we were just awarded a grant, and we'll have to see how it affects you, but it's to reduce fuel in between Lafayette and Rossmore and that whole area. And so we're doing some very active fuel mitigation. We have the hand crews out there as well that are also working on those issues. And you're right, it's a whole multi-agency effort. East Bay Regional Parks District tries very hard to take care of their property, East Bay Mud. And then the other factor we do have is that we do, of course, require fuel abatement. And so primarily that's private property owners. But if there's any areas, and we've had success in other areas, where you see branches, debris, or something that you think poses a natural danger, we are always very happy to reach out to that agency and say, hey, we're seeing a whole issue with this area. You've got undergrowth debris that just hasn't been cleared that really makes a problem. But we can get you more information as with regard to the grant, and I'm happy to get that to you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, mostly, as I say, it's East Bay. I mean, mostly it's the reservoir, but up along Las Trampas Creek, there's a fire road, or there's a whole bank that stretches along the trails. So it's not just Topper Court, it's Bird Haven, it's all the way down the trail. And there, you can see what could be potentially tiki torches, just dead up there. So I was just curious as to how that was progressing. So thank you very much.
We'll follow up for you.
Yeah.
And Lori's taking notes too. And so we'll give you some more information. So thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the new wildfire preparedness La Miranda residence guide came out, and it dawned on me that maybe the businesses didn't get copies of it. So we now have copies of it here at the chamber office. We can get them to you, and there's some really good information in it. And one of the things that's great is on the inside cover. I use this all the time with my staff. I just put this in the window of my office.
Covers it all.
And right under that is the phone number for the mayor, the supervisor. But anyway, Tracy, thank you for bringing it up. I was so excited to see the trees going out on, being cut down on Highway 24. And I look at those East Bay Mud. So I will call John Coleman this morning as well, our representative there. So, and again, thank you to all of you, because what I do see as I drive around Lafayette is a lot of trees have been taken out and a lot of vegetation has been removed. And so that we are moving forward and doing our part. And Abby, and then I will answer Carrie and Sarah's question in the chat. Welcome, Abby.
Hey, good morning, everyone. A little further from the downtown focus area that I think a lot of us are talking about, I just wanted to acknowledge the work that's being done in the Lafayette Community Park. A lot of large eucalyptus came down this past week and a half, and I think that's great. I think Burton Valley residents appreciate that. And I also just want to give a shout out to the work that the Parks and Recreation Department is doing in maintaining the community park. I know we're in the middle of a severe drought, but it is alive and hopping with quail and deer and coyotes and bobcats, and it really is a little piece of nature in the middle of the neighborhood. We're surrounded by nature, but for folks who haven't had a chance to get out there and do a short walk or a long walk, I encourage you to get out there because it's alive and well and very well used by kids going to camp, going over to the community center, people commuting through via the Lafayette Moraga Trail, families and other groups just exploring and goofing around in there. So I wanted to thank the city for that, as well as being good stewards of that area.
Great, thanks, Abby. And while you're out at the community park, stop by the community center, because I actually at the community day got to meet the native plants guru protector.
She's amazing, and the flowers are beautiful. She's done a great job.
Yeah, so definitely stop out there. So Carrie and Sarah asks about the Brant property at the corner, what used to be Celia's, at the corner of Dolores, is it Dolores? Yeah, and Mount Diablo. That property, as we know, sat with a big hole in the ground for a while. It's up. They are moving forward. They had really hoped that they would be, they are actually already, they've done their lotteries and things like that for the affordable units, and they're promoting the properties. And as Carrie mentions on supply chain issues, some of their finishes, including the outside of the building, of the buildings, have been delayed, and rather than and at some point they'll make a decision to change some of the materials, but right now they're waiting and very much hope that they can move forward, and probably not by the end of this year, but hopefully early next year. And so great question, and one I ask as I drive by, so got the answer on that. So, but no, I don't have a date certain. Hi, Cheryl.
All right, Cheryl, go ahead. Cheryl, you're still on mute.
Started. It's 8 o'clock. That's the problem. Councilmember Kwok met with Deputy Chief McAllister, and he mentioned at the council meeting that he traveled around, I think, at different sites. And I was wondering if you knew the sites that he explored as possible sites for the new fire station.
No.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know if you knew.
No, no, I know that, and I know that Chief Burchard and Chief McAllister have been looking at different sites, so I don't know that they have been determined. I know that there was discussion about some different places and where would be best to put them, but that discussion hasn't actively started yet.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And so just so everybody else, so we have Chief McAllister presented, and the other piece of this actually is that we're going to resume having the fire chief update, the fire update quarterly at our council meetings. We used
Yay.
We used to regularly have those, and in the before times, and now we're going to try and resume those. They have come a couple of times, but we will have them coming. At one of those sessions, we invited Chief McAllister to come, because with the higher developments, the higher height of the buildings, we're limited in our ladder truck. And so, having that ability, we could get them in from other locations, but also limited in where do you put one. And so beginning that discussion and beginning to look at, as opportunities come up or properties become available, where could that be? And there are limitations at where the current fire station and Supervisor Anderson's district office or Lafayette office is, limitations on what could be built there. And so in partnership with the fire department, we are quite in the early stages of planning and looking at where we would be able to put that, and also again back to the fiscal sustainability and how we provide those infrastructure and find those resources to do that. So thanks, Cheryl, for bringing that up.
Welcome.
And Dawn Eames, I went back, I thought I saw this flash by Dawn, and so I went back to look at that. And on the PG&E fund, I need to look into the status of the, but there are still legal actions taking place right now. And so that fund is still held aside.
Untouchable, and it's $475,000, not $475.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No, thank you, and thank you for meeting. And thanks to Mike Moran. So just so everyone knows, when things go on the agenda, we really appreciate when residents come forward and business owners, in this case, well, both Cheryl and Dawn and others came forward with some work that we were doing on the East End. And again, we're working on behalf of you. And so we appreciate the partnership and coming forward to make sure that we make the best decisions with the resources and also getting the projects done. So we did approve the traffic signal at Mount Diablo Court down by Blodgett's. I think that's been long awaited, and we'll move forward with that. So thank you, Dawn and Cheryl. I see Abby's hand, and Jana. We'll go to Jana first. And I'm sorry for taking over Fred's job.
Okay, you're doing a better job at it than I am.
I might facilitate these things sometimes in other parts. So hi, Jana.
Hi, well, thank you so much for all the amazing work on wildfire and emergency preparedness and traffic safety. Being a cyclist myself, I really appreciate that. But I would be remiss in talking for a moment about another big project going on in the community in the arts and culture arena. If you know me, you know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Please go to the parktheatretrust.org website and check out what's going on. We're in an active fundraising period right now, but the big news is that we have a construction firm, we have an architect, and we have an amazing operator on contract. So we're really moving forward. Now we just need the funding for the rehab. I want to thank the county for their contribution and the city, of course, for its huge contribution. So keep us in mind as you think about your giving at the latter part of this year. And thanks, didn't mean to hijack you, Teresa.
No. I'm very glad that you and Tracy are here and that you mentioned it. And I'm sure that we could put a link or something in chat on how to find out about the Park Theater Trust and the upcoming event on August 24th, I think. So yeah, so lots going on there. And thank you for, I know this has been a long time coming and it's very exciting. And thank you for your leadership. Abby?
Yeah, I'll be quick. Thanks again for I get two opportunities to talk. Just quickly, I wanted to mention schools are going to be back in session soon. I know probably people are acutely aware of that. There have been a lot of changes or changes imminent around schools, and I was hoping that the city would sort of amplify the message of slow down, schools back in session, watch for new traffic patterns, obey the new sort of constraints and opportunities that we have around schools. So I just wanted to put that out there and hope that there's some messaging from the city out to the community and parents and the school district.
Well, thank you very much. That was my close. No, so we're on the same page. So, and Suzanne, who helped, make sure I didn't miss things, and it was on her recommendations of things to mention as well. Suzanne Erla is our communications analyst at the city. So when you see Love Lafayette on social media, or all of the information that you can get, as much or as little as you want, by going to the city's website and signing up for our emails. Suzanne's doing the magic around that. And so August 9th, it seems very early. It seems like school just got out, but it's exact same amount of summer that they've always had. But school starts on August 9th, as Abby pointed out. And we very much want to encourage everyone to slow down and be on the lookout. There are changes around the schools, but it's the same message every year. We're used to them not being there, and maybe not slowing down on the school zone signs. Nobody on this call, of course, but we just want to make sure we're being extra careful. And the school district, I did meet the new superintendent last night, Brent Stevens. The school district, over at the end of last year and over a little bit over the early part of the summer, we did have some meetings about mapping and circulation and what are the best ways to get to school. And so the school's working on that, and we're working as the city to help where we can and where we're partnering. So throughout the whole local road safety plan and the safe routes to school, we have been partnering very closely with the schools. So we will have that messaging, and thank you for bringing it up for all of us here today. And I want to just give also a shout out. I saw that Chair Carl DeGiorgio of our Transportation and Circulation Commission is on, and a lot of partnership this year with the schools, the city, our Transportation and Circulation Commission, and all of you to make these things happen. So school's starting, be safe, be patient, be kind. Another thing for the next time, but.
All right. Any other questions for the mayor? Wait, we've got one question there. All right.
Hi, Erling.
Hi, this is just a short announcement. I'm a member of the Public Art Committee, and the Public Art Committee is going to review the Public Art Master Plan for the city the end of this year. We will have some public hearings in October, November, and then after we conclude those public hearings on the Public Art Master Plan review, it will go to City Council for your review, which would be January, February, sometime in there. So if there's any comments or any changes or anything that anybody would like to talk about or throw into the pot, now's the time to think about it, and then look to the public hearings that will happen October, November at the Public Art Committee level or at the City Council level first part of next year.
Great, thank you. And thank you, Erling. And again, just thanks to all of the volunteers who, step up to help make sure that the city runs well and that all of us are represented and well served. So thank you to all the volunteers. And I'll ask you offline about the prognosis for Ursus, because I think Holly will be kicking me under the table. So
okay.
Yeah. Cheryl. I think we have time for one more question, and then maybe I'll ask about Ursus. Cheryl, did you have another question or comment?
Yeah, real quick. So I missed a bunch of meetings, I think, on GPAC. I went to the last one, but I was wondering if you could just update me and others on what their objective is in the near future and long time, because I feel like I stepped in a little behind.
Okay, and I'm going to once again put someone on the screen on the spot, and I'm going to ask the vice chair of GPAC, Matt Pease, to give just a kind of quick update on what the next steps are for GPAC. It was a great meeting, and there is a plan.
It was a good meeting.
Yeah,
Thank you,
we're-
Matt.
Yeah, we're going to, for the next 6 months, we're still working the details out with staff, but we're going to work on the safety plan and fulfill some of the state mandates to report out on what the Lafayette safety plan is. This includes both fire safety, includes police protection, it includes hazardous materials, transmission lines, things such that. Some of it is pretty detailed information, but we've got a work plan that'll go over about 12 meetings. We'll probably do 2 meetings a month. We'll try to keep them shorter, so about 2 hours per meeting, and fulfill all the requirements that the state puts on the city in terms of having a comprehensive safety plan. So the announcement for the next meeting should come out soon. And we're, like I said, going to move to two a month for about 2 hours each night.
Thank you. And again, thank you for all of your work on that. And great question, Cheryl. And Erling,
Yes.
in a, so Holly doesn't start, giving both of us the hook. Versus Holly's like, wait a minute. No, I want Holly to have her time. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, Ursus, the bear statue sculpture in Lafayette had an oak tree. There was an oak tree that fell, and Ursus had I love the visuals that we're getting. Ursus had an accident, and I understand Ursus is currently at the Public Works yard, and I was just curious what the next steps were.
Well, right now it's negotiating with the insurance companies to have Ursus repaired by the artist. But as you know, the city does not own Ursus.
Yeah.
And it's actually on loan by the from the artist, as Teresa loaned it to us. We have the obligation of returning the sculpture back to the artist at the end of the loan period. However, there is a possibility that we could buy that Ursus and perhaps install Ursus at Buckeye Fields. There may be some room over there. But first thing we have to do is get Ursus repaired and settle with the insurance companies with regard to that. And then see if the Parks and Rec Commission would be interested in that project. The Public Art Committee and the Public Art Fund we have the money to buy it and move it. But it's just a question of if the community wants it there. That would be the one place that we could actually install it right now.
Thank you.
So essentially that's it.
Thank you. And thank you very much, because I know that it has become sort of a part of our community there. And so wanted to just follow up on where it was. And I don't think it will be going to Burning Man, Tracy, but so with that, I just want to, first of all, thank you all for those smiles just then. And want to thank you all for being here this morning and for giving me the just the privilege of being able to represent and work with all of you. It's all about public service, and I appreciate all of you very much. And we'll now turn it back over to Holly. And Holly, thank you for letting me keep us all on time with knowing what your schedule is for us. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Gerringer. I believe this is the 5th or the 6th copy that we've had this year, and this has been the most information-packed and valuable one. I can't wait to share it with those that couldn't make it. Thank you for bringing all your questions. Thank you for joining us today. I do have a couple announcements in regards to community service. The Chamber will be opening up board positions to its membership. If anyone's interested in being on the Chamber board, you can reach out to us. We'll have petitions going out within the next few weeks. You took away a lot of my thunder, but I'll try to bring the excitement back. Our retail and our chamber members are so excited for tomorrow. My phone has been blowing up with Instagram posts and tags. There are some deep discounts to be had, and I encourage you to tag on the Lafayette gift card and to check out, I believe I put the link to the sidewalk sale in the chat. There is quite a number of businesses that are so excited to offer you the discounts, get rid of their summer sales, because everyone's looking forward to fall. The mixer that we're having in August that you mentioned is August 24th. It is in Plaza Park and from 5:30 to 7. I believe I put the link. We are asking that you register so that we can have a name tag ready for you. The Park Theater Trust is thrilled, like they said, to have us meet the operators, local residents from Cinema SF. So the community as well as chamber members are invited to our mixer on August 24th. We are in full force planning mode for all our fall events, including the Lafayette Art and Wine Festival. So save the date, don't plan your vacations, welcome your friends to the community. It's the weekend of September 17th and 18th. The roads will be closed and starting Friday night through late Sunday night. We have sold almost every inch of space, or offered every inch of space that we have within the festival footprint to many unique local vendors, including local artists, some of which will be at the Plaza Park tomorrow morning for our sidewalk sale, and nonprofits that will also be at our sidewalk sale tomorrow. So come get a glimpse of the festival in Plaza Park tomorrow at the sidewalk sale. Go ahead, Teresa.
No, after you're done, I do want to, I just noticed a question, but I just wanted to make sure you didn't completely close before I get to comment on something.
After the Art and Wine Festival, we'll be running the streets again, closing the streets and running the streets again for our Res Run for Education. So we are encouraging our schools, as you're registering for school and preparing for school, to also sign up for the Res Run for Education. It will be Sunday, October 23rd. We start at 8 a.m. Hopefully this year we will not have a torrential downpour like we did last year, but it was amazing how many community members came out in the rain. We actually gave back over $42,000 directly to our schools as a result of the Res Run. The next few weeks we'll be showcasing our new t-shirt design for this year, and we can be more excited about it. Other fall events, we'll have Trick or Treat Street, we'll have something at Thanksgiving, or It's a Wonderful Life, and most likely we'll have a holiday mixer to round out the year. So please join us. Thank you again, Teresa. I do not have an additional coffee scheduled just because of the election that's coming up, but we did just get from the Lafayette Homeowners Council that they are going to be having candidates nights. They have 2 nights. October 13th is for the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette School District Board, and October 20th is for Akalani's Union High School District Board. So there may be a Zoom option, but they're planning on both those dates to be 7 p.m. at the library. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. It looks like Jay has a question. And
not a question. I just wanted to share an event, so I'll put on my Rotary hat for just a moment and let everyone know that a week from tomorrow, on the August 6th, the Rotary Club of Lafayette is putting on their second concert at the Reservoir this year. And this year, we are basically dedicating this concert. It's a free concert. We have Paul Catrubo opening up for us. You may know him from the Big Jangle and Cover to Cover and other bands that he's been in. He'll be opening up, and then we have the big band of Rossmore doing a performance. And this concert is being dedicated to the hundreds of volunteers in Contra Costa County that have been working with the homeless and the hungry. And about 10 of those organizations will be, those nonprofits will be there at the park. being able to give information about what they do. And we will also, we've just added a food drive with the food bank. And so when you come, if you want to bring some non-perishable groceries, we'll have a separate a lane that you can just pull through. We'll have volunteers there to help unload, and come and enjoy the concert. It'll start at 5 o'clock. You might want to get there a little bit earlier than that, bring a blanket and a picnic, and it should be a beautiful night. Thanks.
Perfect. May I just close out with Rebecca Thompson had commented and about Community Day, and that she participated in the picking up trash around our overpasses and throughout the community, and wondered if we all know that the Rotary does that, and the Rotary does a great job throughout the year finding other opportunities for non-Rotarians. I would also bet the Rotarians would love to have you, hi Rebecca, would love to have you participate, but without also putting someone else on the spot. But just yesterday, I had a text message from another resident in the community who wanted to talk about pulling weeds and some of the places throughout the community. So on, thank you, Lamont. And on Monday, I'm going to speak with the city manager about within the sort of public works realm, how we could potentially move forward with that effort. And so remember, when you come up with these ideas, sometimes you may be contacted to help with implementation. So, so thank you all very much. Thanks for bringing those ideas. And I think that it's a great idea. And we all love Lafayette and want to make it and keep it as beautiful as we can. So thanks for coming forward.
Teresa,
thank you all.
Teresa, as you get into that conversation about weed pulling and so on, one of the things that always comes up is it seems like most of the weeds are on Caltrans right of way rather than the city. So that's always been an issue to deal with.
Yeah. So I know that there are things I don't know about this great idea and getting it to there. So thank you, Rebecca and Lamont, and the Rotary will figure out how to move forward with partnering on this. So with that,
great.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Teresa. We appreciate your time this morning, and everybody have a great weekend.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you,
Teresa. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great weekend. See you tomorrow at the sidewalk sale.